This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Domestic Cookery, Useful Recipes and Hints to Young Housekeepers by Elizabeth E. Lee. Section 5, Vegetables. Vegetables. To boil green corn. Pick out ears near the same size and have the water boiling when you put them in. Half an hour is long enough for young corn. That which is old and hard will take an hour or more. If young corn is boiled too long, it becomes hard and indigestible. To fricassee corn. Cut green corn off the cob. Put it in a pot and just cover it with water. Let it boil half an hour. Mix a spoonful of flour with half a pint of rich milk, pepper, salt, parsley, thyme, and a piece of butter. Let it boil a few minutes and take it up in a deep dish. Corn will do to cook in this way when too old to boil on the cob. To keep corn for winter. When boiled, cut the corn off the cob and spread it on dishes. Set these in the oven to dry after the bread comes out. If you have no oven, it can be dried in a stove of moderate heat or round a fire. When perfectly dry, tie it up in muslin bags and hang them in a dry place. When you use it, boil it till soft in water, mix flour, milk, butter, pepper, and salt together, and stir in. Corn fritters. Cut the corn through the grain, and with a knife scrape the pulp from the cob, or grate it with a coarse grater, and to about a quart of the pulp add 2 eggs beaten, 2 tablespoonsful of flour, a little salt and pepper, and a small portion of thin cream or new milk. Beat the whole together. Have the butter or lard hot in the pan and put a large spoonful in at a time and fry brown, turning each fritter separately. This makes an agreeable relish for breakfast or a good side dish at dinner. Hominy. Large hominy, after it is washed, must be put to soak overnight. If you wish to have it for dinner, put it to boil early in the morning or it will not be done in time. Eat it as a vegetable. Small hominy will boil in an hour. It is very good at breakfast or supper to eat with milk or butter, or to fry for dinner. Both large and small hominy will keep good in a cool place several days. Be careful that the vessel it is cooked in is perfectly clean, or it will darken the hominy. To fry hominy. Put a little lard in your frying pan and make it hot. Mash and salt the hominy, put it in, and cover it over with a plate. Let it cook slowly for half an hour, or longer if you like it very brown. When done, turn it out in a plate. If you do not like it fried, mash it well with a little water, salt, and butter, and warm it in a frying pan. To boil potatoes. When the potatoes are old, pare them. Put them in plenty of boiling water and boil them till you can run a fork through easily. If you wish to have them whole, pour off all the water, throw in some salt, and let them stand a few minutes over coals to let the steam go off. They will then be white and mealy. It is a mistaken notion to boil potatoes in but little water, as they are sure to turn dark and taste strong. In cold weather they may be kept pared several days in a pan of water, by changing the water every day, and will be whiter. If you like mashed potatoes, take them up when barely done, sprinkle them with salt and mash them. Put in a spoonful of cream and a small lump of butter. Keep them hot till they are taken to table. In the summer when potatoes are young, put them in a small tub with a little water and rub them with a piece of brick to break the skin. You can then peel enough for dinner with a knife in a few minutes. When they are older, boil them with the skins on and squeeze them separately in a cloth to make them mealy. New potatoes are nice with cream and butter over them. In boiling old potatoes, some persons cut them round without paring, which allows the moisture to escape. This is an improvement. You can then either peel them or send them to table without peeling. To stew potatoes. Chop or slice cold potatoes. Season with pepper and salt. Stew them with a little butter and milk and a dust of flour. When nearly done, stir in a yolk of egg with some chopped parsley. They will cook in a few minutes and may be sliced overnight if you wish an early breakfast. Sweet potatoes. To boil sweet potatoes, put them in a pot with plenty of water. Let them boil fast till you can run a fork through the largest. Then pour off the water and leave them in the pot a quarter of an hour. You can then peel the skin off or leave it on. Some prefer them baked in a Dutch oven. They should have a quick heat. Large potatoes will take an hour to bake. It has been found a good way to boil them till nearly done, then peel and bake them. They are drier and nicer. To fry potatoes. Cold potatoes are very good fried for breakfast with scraps of bacon. If they have been mashed, make them out in cakes with a little flour and fry them brown, or slice them. Tomatoes. If you wish to bake tomatoes in the oven with bread, pour boiling water on and skin them. Cut them in small pieces, season with salt and pepper, and put them in a pan with crumbs of bread and butter. Cover the pan with a plate and bake 3/4 of an hour. When done, mash them and take them out on a dish. To fry tomatoes. Slice them, season with pepper and salt, and fry in hot butter. If they are green, dip them in flour after being seasoned. Tomato omelet. Pour boiling water on the tomatoes. Skin and cut them fine. To 1 quart of this, put 2 chopped onions and a lump of butter the size of an egg. Let them boil half an hour, then mash them. Put in grated bread, pepper, salt, and the yolks of 2 eggs. To stew tomatoes. Wash and pour boiling water over them. Peel off the skins and cut them up. Season them with pepper and salt. Put in a lump of butter and boil them in their own juice for half an hour. Stir in enough crumbs of bread to thicken them. Let them cook slowly 10 minutes longer. Be careful that the bread does not burn. To bake tomatoes. Take out the inside of large tomatoes. Make a stuffing of bread, butter, pepper, salt, and an egg. Fill them with this and set them in a deep pie plate. Let them bake slowly half an hour. Tomato jelly to eat with roast meat. Wash the tomatoes and put them in a bell metal kettle with a little water. Let them boil 30 minutes. Take them out and strain them through a sieve till you get all the pulp. Let it settle and pour off the top. Put the thick part in deep plates and set them in the oven after the bread is drawn. Season it with pepper and salt to your taste and put it away in a jar. It can either be eaten cold or warmed up with crumbs of bread and butter. Some persons slice tomatoes and dry them on dishes in an oven. To fricassee tomatoes. Wash and cut them in 2 if large. If small, leave them whole, but do not peel them or they go too much to pieces. Have a broad speeder or stove pan. Put in a half spoonful of butter. Season the tomatoes with pepper and salt and flour them. Cover them with a plate. They will cook in 10 minutes, stirring them once. Pour in a half teacup of cream just as they are done. Let them boil up and dish them while hot. This dish is much liked either for breakfast, dinner, or tea. To broil tomatoes for breakfast. Take large round tomatoes, wash and wipe them, and put them on the gridiron over lively coals, the stem side down. When this is brown, turn them and let them cook till quite hot through. Place them on a hot dish and send them quickly to table, where each one may season for himself with pepper, salt, and butter. To bake tomatoes for breakfast. Season them with pepper and salt. Flour and bake them in a stove, in a deep plate with a little butter over them. Tomatoes sliced with onions. Pick the best tomatoes. Let them stand a little while in cold water, then peel and slice them. To about 6 tomatoes, you may add 2 red onions, also sliced. Season with pepper, plenty of salt, and a small portion of vinegar. To put up tomatoes for winter. Gather a quantity of tomatoes, wash, scald, skin, and cut them up. Season them highly with pepper and salt, and put them in a large stone jar. Set this in the oven with your bread, and leave it till it is cold. Stir them and set them in the oven every time you bake for several weeks. When the juice is nearly dried up, put a piece of white paper over the jar, melt some lard, and pour on it. When you use them, stew them with bread, butter, and water. Baked eggplant. Boil them 10 minutes, then cut them in half and take out the seeds, filling them with a stuffing of crumbs of bread seasoned with butter, pepper, salt, the yolk of an egg, and, if you choose, the juice of a tomato. Close them and tie each one with a string. Put a little water in the Dutch oven and lay them in with some of the stuffing on the